breaking out, I'm breaking in. I just can't help this state I'm in. I'm on my way, y'all. So put your shades on. This light's so bright, it's blinding. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. Breaking free, I'm breaking ground. I can't explain this thing I found. The clouds have moved on. I got my groove on. This pep in my steps infectious. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I've been stuck in a rut. I've been shit out of luck. I've been wondering what is up with me. And then I realized it's up to me to decide. I can just be radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love.
You are an irresistible magnet with the power to attract unto yourself everything that you desire. Absolutely everything. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the New Thought Spiritual Center Sunday celebration. I'm Reverend Jay Willick. I'm the senior minister here at the New Thought Spiritual Center. And we're so happy that you have brought your consciousness here, joining us on our Sunday celebration. Happy autumn, by the way. We are in a new season, the season of fall, the season of autumn. Happy Sukkot or Sukkos to our Jewish friends. I was brought up Jewish. That is the fall harvest festival and holiday in that tradition, and that happened during the week. I can remember eating a lot of candied apples during that holiday. Yum. Great stuff. So thank you for joining us. The New Thought Spiritual Center, we are all-inclusive, bringing metaphysics, bringing positivity, bringing optimal thinking into your lives and inspiring you, bringing you the tools to advance your life, to bring that magnificence that you keep hearing about into your life, or more magnificence if you already have a bunch of magnificence in your life. But I have a little quick video to show you, to tell you the statement of principles for us here at the New Thought Spiritual Center. Watch this. Yeah, that's what we're all about. Our vision statement, our mission statement. Every month we highlight one of our statement of principles. And this month, we have decided to highlight our purpose statement, which is reveal the divinity in you. That's what we do every week. That's all we're talking about every week, is revealing that divinity that's already there in you so that you can bring it out into your life and watch it shine like crazy. We have some beautiful orchids that PJ got us for our celebration this week. And so I always like to look at that. Aren't those fabulous? Yes, 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 yes. So let's begin. Let's dig in. So one of the ways we like to dig in to what's going on is to step into our sacred space. And, anywhere you are, you can create a sacred space. You don't have to create any sort of altar with the oranges and all that wonderful stuff, although you can, and that's wonderful. You don't have to be here with us in a Sunday celebration to have your sacred space. You can do it in the middle of noise, in the middle of the city with people walking around and horns honking. You can create a sacred space. And we're going to do that right here, right now, wherever you are. So sit down if you're not, or take a moment and stop doing what you're doing just for a few minutes. And then we're going to step into a guided meditation. So you ready? Here we go. It is at this time that we enter into our sacred space, opening our hearts and mind to awaken the highest and deepest part of our divine selves. We plant the seed of our greatest adventure, nurturing them with water of faith and the soil of spirit, calling in wisdom from ancient times, quantum science. We now transcend time and space into the grace, love, and power of the universe. So go ahead and take a deep breath. Hold it in for 3, 2, 1. Let it out. Do it again. And let's do it slowly. Inhale. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Let it out. Get comfortable, maybe put your feet on the ground. If they're cross-legged, or if they're crossed over, or sit cross-legged if you want. Close your eyes, or maybe just have them at a soft focus and watch the moving mandala there on the screen. And bring awareness to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of the chest, the rhythm of your breathing. If you find your thoughts wandering here and there, it's okay. Just gently bring them back to this guided meditation. This heart energy, heart chakra meditation. Thoughts are okay. Thoughts are powerful. Let them come. Welcome them. And just allow them to float by. Be kind to yourself. Can you fake a yawn? Fake a yawn right now, or really yawn. Oh, yeah. One more time. Take a yawn. Open your mouth wide. Let that breath exhale. Feel that breath begin in your belly, opening your lungs and your chest. Inhale as much as you can. Let it go slowly through the mouth. And now I want you to bring your attention to the root of your being, the base of your spine. And I want you to imagine a tiny ball of red energy spinning right there at the base of your spine, tiny red ball of energy. Like a pin of light, red, spinning. The base of your spine, this energy center. Allow this light to grow and surround your body. You just see it in your mind's eye, this tiny red ball, expanding. Moving up a few inches as it expands. Surrounding your body with this red light. Now let's just move our imagination, our mind's eye up a few inches to just below the navel. That is the creative center energy base. There, imagine an orange light spinning, just the size of a pin. And as you take your next slow inhale, allow this orange light to grow, expand wider and wider to the size of a marble. Then more and more, until it surrounds your body as well. Moving above the belly button, see a tiny yellow light spin. It is the light of your own self-motivation and destiny, the destiny you choose. And as you inhale, grow this yellow light to surround your chest, your head, your entire body aglow. And now let's bring our attention to our heart. The area in the center of our chest, a tiny green light spins there. This is the light of unconditional love. And on your next inhale, grow this light to the size of your heart, the size of your hand. This green light lifts, fills your heart. And on your next exhale, breathe out this light into the space around you, the sacred space you have created, and allow it to grow enough to surround your whole body in this beautiful green light. Inhaling again. We bring this light of love within us again, through our nose, through our breath, filling our heart and chest, infusing our whole being with the light of compassion, connection. Breathe in, breathe out, this green light in and out, all around you. In and out, in and out. Your self-love increases. Your love for others begins to increase. Your appreciation for all that is good is infused in you, with you, this loving energy. It is through this green light you see the world as the beautiful place it truly is. And you see the beauty of yourself within it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I am connected to others and to the earth. I am love. I give love and receive love. My heart is open and I am grateful. I love myself and others. I see beauty in all people and all around me. I am passionate. I feel profound joy in my life, accepting myself just as I am, surrounded by love. And just allow the fading bell to just ring all around you, and breathe in a deep breath. And hold it 3, 2, 1, and release it slowly through your mouth. Breathe, breathe, breathe the light of love, the light of creativity, the light of the divine in you. And now wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, slowly open your eyes. This sacred space will not leave you as long as you hold on to it, as long as you allow yourself to continue to reveal that divinity that is already within you, that love, that divine love that is already within you, working your creativity for you, with you, as you. Stay in the sacred space no matter how loud the world becomes, how crazy or fun this experience on Sunday is. That matters not. As long as your heart, as long as you allow that green light to shine, the red and orange lights to surround you. That was beautiful. That actually was written by a woman named Cynthia Sageleaf, who is a McLean Meditation Institute mindfulness teacher. And I thank her for having that script up on the internet where I could find that. A lot of times I make these up on my own, but occasionally I find one that really speaks to me and brings me back into the light. Speaking of stepping into the light, we have a most enlightened, wise, fabulous, wonderful speaker as our sacred reader for this morning, who will give a little talk to you about stuff, some good stuff, and do our affirmative incantation this morning. So let's bring her in. Caressa McElhaney is there outside in Aprahini Garden. Speak again. Oh, there you go. I can hear you. It's a little, Steve. Do you hear that? It's a little.
No, I was having a discussion the other day.
Okay, that's a little.
About how when you take on the philosophy of the science of mind, depending on what you believe or practiced before, what beliefs you grew up with, you're making a rather radical change to the way you approach it.
call it ghost or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
that's
set
cool.
up. I guess,
Yeah.
Plug that in. You get that in.
all right, give me a moment.
No problem.
Okay.
Hey, you know, things work. Things work when you test it, and then life happens.
Oh, here?
Camera mic
And that's what you do.
to the left.
Life
Okay,
happens,
audio.
and even though you
Okay,
put
now
everything
select
together
default
and it
microphone.
seems to work,
Line built in?
you plug in again,
Finding.
like they're doing behind me. You can hear them plugging in a new mic, a new connection to their life, to our life here on our Sunday celebration. And, you know, we have to do that ourselves, don't we? We're actually going to talk about that today. So this is a perfect lesson to what I'm talking about today and what I'm sure Chris is about to speak. So what's going on? Can you let me know? We're not on a dual shot, so I don't see what's going on. I will vamp. Hey, you know what? Let's do a spiritual mind treatment. Let's step in a little more to reveal the divinity within us while they're fixing the microphone over there. And let us know this. You can close your eyes if you want. You don't have to close your eyes. You know, when you pray, you don't have to close your eyes. It helps a little because it kind of closes off the sensory idea of what's going on. You know, that gets in the way sometimes. So close your eyes. Let's know this. Let's know that right here, right now, there is one power. You can call that power whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. All it cares is that we reveal it in our lives, that we allow ourselves to commune with it in joy, to commune with that power and presence that is within us, that power to create, to manifest, to demonstrate into our lives that which we have decided to declare. So that's what we are doing right now. We are plugging in. We are plugging in what is already available to us right now. We are plugging in to that great source, that the greatest source of power, the greatest source of wisdom, the greatest source of love. Living a life of gratitude and appreciation for all the good that comes in our lives, positive or negative or neither. We accept this as good. Now, some of this good we let pass through. And some of this good we absorb and live with and expand from and transform and transcend from. We get to choose what those are, and we are choosing right now as they enter our lives. Yes, this stays. No, this goes. Because right here, right now, we are revealing and reconnecting purposefully and intentionally with that power, declaring our lives magnificent. Whatever that looks like. That is what each of us are revealing right here, right now. And I speak this word in appreciation and gratitude, knowing that I am heard and the universe has my back, your back, all of ours back. This is great. This is fabulous. We are revealing the divine within right here, right now. As together we say, and so it is. Yay. Oh, did you go inside? Oh, now there's two of you. But I can't hear you. Oh, there's one. Now we're on one shot. Now we're, hey, hi.
Hello.
Oh, there you go. Yay.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun?
It's great fun.
Well, you can't hear me.
You know,
Okay, so
when we look at all this as fun, we're okay.
yeah.
You go, you have, I'll be back later to talk.
All right, okay. Sorry
The
about
rest
that.
of my friends.
All right. Remove. Okay. All right. So sorry for the technical difficulties. It was working fine before. I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, as I was saying, all right, I was having a discussion the other day, and it's all about how when you take on the philosophy of the science of mind, you, depending on what you have grown up with, what you believed or practiced before, sometimes when you take on these philosophies, you are making a very radical change in the way you approach life. So most of us were brought up with a very firm belief that God is somewhere above us and he is responsible for things that happen to us, or he's the one that controls our destiny or metes out the consequences of our actions. So when you take on that philosophy of science of mind, it expands our idea of God, and in such a way that we understand that we are God and that we are all part of the one. So this understanding includes a great responsibility, because now we are in charge of our own lives, and that the way that we think and believe, that is what creates our realities. We're not relying on an outside force, to decide what happens to us or to make something happen. Now, I know we can have great resistance to this idea that we are the ones in charge of our lives. I mean, it's so much easier to think that it's not up to us, or that someone else, God, could save us when things go wrong. Now, this is simplified, but the reason that I'm bringing this up is just really to make another point. Not only are we in charge of creating our future, but the only way we could do that is to let go of our past and be truly in the present moment, which can sometimes be the hardest thing to do at all. So, sometimes we get so caught up in making goals and imagining the future, or we spend so much time dwelling on the past that we ignore what is happening to us in the present moment, right in the here and now. And the present moment is all that we ever really have. Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The Power of Now, which I'm still reading, says, the quality of your consciousness at this moment is what shapes the future, which of course can only be experienced as the now. And if it is the quality of your consciousness at this moment that determines the future, then what is it that determines the quality of your consciousness? Your degree of presence. So the only place where true change can occur and where the past can be dissolved is the now. So, back to responsibility. By accepting what is, we free ourselves from the burdens of the past and the illusions of the future to live fully and completely in this present moment. Because after all, that is where life actually happens. Everything else is an illusion. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take action to correct something or plan for the future, but by letting go of resistance to what is, by accepting that, we gain control. We gain control by relinquishing control. We free ourselves to be at peace, regardless of what conditions present themselves. Now, I think that's a great thing to be responsible for. So I'd like to read Reverend Jay's Affirmative Incantation. All right, so you can either read it along with me. Oops. You can either read it along with me or listen to me read it out loud. Here we go. I proclaim the power of God rising within me to create a week filled with laughter and love. I reveal the wisdom to expand, a life that is grand, the good sense to plan, and being in command of awakening to the best in me. Here I go, just a-walking down the street, confident no matter what, raising my frequency to the highest I can strut, with clear thoughts and fearless faith, surrounded by those that equal my frequency, and knowing everything I need arrives on time at the perfect place. So, thank you, Reverend Jay. I would like to go ahead and do a treatment right now for you and for me, for all of us watching, listening at this moment. So if you'd like to close your eyes, feel free. Here's what I know. I know that in this present moment, we are all, each and every one of us, part of the one, the greater whole that includes all that is. And I know that we each, by our own actions, by how we take responsibility for our actions and for our thoughts and for our beliefs, most of all, that we are able to create the lives that we desire. I know that by relinquishing any hold on the past, any hold the past has on us, by planning but letting go, by allowing, and then by fully accepting what is happening at this very moment, and by being grateful and being joyful in this present moment, we are able to live our absolute best, fullest, most peaceful, and vibrant, wonderful lives. I know this, I accept this, I allow this, I'm grateful for this. I just let it go, knowing that my best life is waiting for me without ever having to force or try to overly control anything. I simply allow what is. I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for this knowing. I'm grateful for the ability to speak my word and know that it is done. I release it, I let it go, and together we can say, and so it is.
Here's the deal with your daily dose of obvious wisdom. You are what you say and feel, and everything that you do.
You don't need to whisper.
How you believe and achieve and conceive is your operative system. But being ever so present makes life more than true. But there are times when we don't really want to hear it, but we listen carefully because we all want to know. It takes constant reminding to trust in spirit, to feel the power of right now and just let go. So let's laugh
Clever billboard yellow.
and take immediate action and manifest the best we can attest forever derive. We'll deflect and unmask interference and distraction, and we'll all come to a higher place with a deeper dive. Take a deeper dive, far beyond the emotional surface, and we'll arrive. Space that's more than perfect. It becomes alarming when you feel the grasp of commitment. Feel the tug and pull, but the universe gets back to you. It's the ultimate prize to reach and unhide all your resistance and reap the rewards of the bigger life you can renew. There's only one simple answer to your obvious question, and that's what keeps us awake and aware and alive. We can bounce around easy pleasing suggestions. We can benefit the most from a deeper dive. Take a deeper dive, far beyond the emotional surface, and arrive at a space that's more than perfect, like right now.
Oh, yeah. Right here, right now, band with Deeper Dive, brand new song from Steve Apperson. Little country blues going on there. I like it. I like it. Thank you so much. Great, great. We're so fortunate to get a brand new song every month. Wow. So I want to start with a bit of poetry this morning. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes or your lies. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Now, that piece was from Maya Angelou's third volume of poetry from 1978, called And Still I Rise. And I think here she speaks a universal truth about our ability to overcome anything, because we have that power to step into radical responsibility for our lives and remember who and what we are. We can step into that radical responsibility because we remember who we are. And what is that? Who we are, what we are? Well, like the air, there is within each of us an energy that is unstoppable, inexhaustible, inextinguishable, and unchangeable. Like the ever-expanding universe, that which we call God, Spirit, Divine Intelligence, whatever, that in which we live, breathe, move, and have our being all the time, that which rises in us, as us, for us, and with us, that, like the air, can never really be oppressed. Like the lotus, even from the muck and mud that may occur in our lives, like the lotus lives in, it, that power, that presence that we reveal, is always there to rise, blooming out of us like the darkness, out of our darkness even, to radiate love into the world, as well as love, of course, in our own lives. It's been said that the pain that we have in life is the portal to the power we have in our lives. And I think, well, it can be a portal to power, but you know, and I've said this many times before, you don't need what we commonly think of as pain, trauma, abuse, depression, hitting bottom, all those things. We don't need them in order to step into our portal, or the portal of power, however you want to put it. For like the air, that power is already there. It's already within us. It's just waiting for us to reveal it in our lives. You know, any discontent in previous relationships or jobs or careers, you know, that's a pain of sorts. I've had that pain of sorts. It's a pain in the butt is what it is. But it's also a catalyst to take radical responsibility for what's going on. To not just, you know, going with the flow is a wonderful thing, but not just, you know, through life. Taking ideas, taking things that are going on in our lives as a catalyst to take radical responsibility, which is what I want to talk about today, for what was going on in your life, to take a stance at that portal of power and lean in and start making changes and start healing whatever's going on in our lives that we don't want anymore. And I know that sometimes we avoid pain and suffering by leaning into these ideas of how God will provide, or other phrases like that. And they're true. God will provide, or the divine, or whatever you want to call it. I've done it. I've gotten misled by the affirming sentences that you say over and over again, the spiritual quips, the buzzwords from this, from the New Thought movement, or any movement of metaphysical movement or religious movement for that matter. And they may move me a millimeter here and there towards expansion, but inevitably it becomes a bypass, an excuse, sometimes even a denying of the quote unquote bad that is going on in our lives, rather than us jumping in and opening up to that junk in our lives and allowing it to inform us as a greater expression of spirit that is within us, where we dig deep, which can also be painful, and I get that. But as we dig deep, and we listen for that wisdom, we start taking bold and brave and sometimes radical action because we get informed. We are reminded of the foundation of who and what we are. And even though temporary fixes like God will provide make us feel better, and I'm not saying don't use those, I'm saying don't depend on those, period. Move through those, use those as a catalyst to move forward in more deeper ways. Because just using those don't usually get us past that portal and into the thick of it, into the thick of our power, into the thick of that ability to work the change we desire in our lives. They can be a first step, of course, but not the only step, because it's in the thick of it, with or without pain, or whatever level or version of pain, that radical responsibility takes over, where our badass spirituality selves kick in, and the healing then will expand exponentially. So instead of running away from the pain, it comes to visit. But what if we leaned into a process of listening closely to hear what this pain has to teach us? You know, the pain's going to come, whatever level. The pain's going to come. It could just be a little tickle of, I'm not really satisfied, excuse me, with what's going on in my life, to something that's a little more dramatic. And we need to reach a point where we talk to it. Ask it, why are you showing up? What's going on? What am I supposed to learn from all this? It's not pleasant. Tell me what I need to learn so I can move forward. It reminds me of how I did that when I had a kidney stone about 15, 20 years ago. I had to reframe the pain, physical pain in this instance, reframe it as an expression of spirit in my life, an expression that was calling to me in a way that obviously I didn't listen to subtler hints that were going on in my life, the subtle, or even the big red flags that was going on in my life. And so the universe knocked on my door with kidney stones. And I persevered through about 4 days of pain, and I learned, though. That's the biggest thing. I learned. I persevered without painkillers because they didn't really work that well anyway. But I listened. I asked, and I listened to what I was being informed of, what I was really being inspired to do. And not just rising from the physical challenge, but rising from the fear and discomfort of what was going on in my world that I was not paying attention to. And in this way, I allowed myself to receive the message. And by doing that, declaring my healing and moving past the portal from the pain to the power, stepping into the portal, releasing that conflict that was blocking me. We believe in the incarnation of the universal spirit in humankind, and that everything, all people, the rocks, the trees, etc., are part and participants of that one spirit. Everything is created by this power and presence. Everything reveals a divinity that expresses in ways we may not understand how a rock expresses the divine, but so what? That's nature. Nature does its thing, and we do our thing within the nature we are. And we are part and participant of the one spirit expressing itself as us, as that microorganism, as that flower. We believe that the power of the Big Bang, you might say, is within us right now, and that we experience this creation level energy and power to the degree that we become conscious of it and use it on purpose. Ernest Holmes wrote, living without fear, he wrote, there is an energy in thought, not because we wish it to be so, but because it is so. Definite and specific thinking draws this energy through our conscious desires and makes manifest these desires at the level of our comprehension of good. We think, therefore we are. We think, therefore it is. We think and feel and believe and take action, and heretofore our lives manifest as we see fit. You know, it's said that the ultimate goal of life is to have a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature. And I know a lot of people ask themselves, well, can I achieve that in my lifetime? Maybe, maybe not. But we are responsible for working at it. There's a power for good in the universe, right? You've heard that before. There is a power for good in the universe, and it uses every part of our experiences, the joyous and the challenging, the pleasure and the pain, to guide us into a deeper awareness and knowledge of the self, and use that deeper awareness and knowledge to move us forward, to expand and transform and transcend our lives. Nothing's wasted that happens in our lives. I know that's tough to hear. I totally get it. I'm not dumbing down any experiences that may be traumatic in your life. But in some ways, they're blessings, dare I say. They can at least lead to a blessing in our lives when we take radical responsibility for our response to the experience, at least later on. I want to tell you a little quick story. In 1985, 35-year-old Fleet Mall, who eventually became a PhD, was sentenced to 25 years without parole for drug trafficking. And while he was in a maximum security prison, he learned about and decided to take radical responsibility for his life and became committed to eradicate all the negativity that was in his life that led to this this bout in maximum security prison. Because he also knew that this was something that his then 9-year-old son would be able to hold on to, be able to hold his head up high and be able to be proud of his dad, despite what was going on with him for the next 25 years. And he later wrote this book, which is how I found out about him, called Radical Responsibility: How to Move Beyond Blame, Fearlessly Living Your Highest Purpose, and Becoming an Unstoppable Force for Good. Quite a title. Radical responsibility. That's the most important part of that title. And his definition for radical responsibility goes like this. He says, my philosophy of radical responsibility involves voluntarily embracing 100% of ownership for each and every circumstance we face in life, day in and day out. Wow. Wow. He describes 6 steps in an article I read about the book to accomplish getting himself out of what is called the drama triangle. Now, the drama triangle is a concept that a psychologist named Stephen Karpman came up with. And in the drama triangle, one is fueled by fear and its survival-based psychology and behaviors. Ever had that? Ever had what's going on in your mind and what you're doing in your behavior fueled by fear and some sense of a need to survive? Living in blame and shame and resentment and self-justification and guilt and all that. Ever had any of that? Bet you have. We all have. I have. I know it sounds familiar, all of these things I'm going to say to you really quickly, but I've used all of them in my life, and I will continue to use them when things pop up, because they've helped me get unhooked from the sometimes debilitating stories from my life that sometimes keep replaying in my mind. And to the degree that I allow those replayings to affect me and affect what I say, do, and think is, where I'm going to go in my life. It's like when you create a purpose statement, when I created this purpose statement, or when you get clarity in describing to the universe that which you have decided to reveal in your life, your next adventure, your next journey. That's the digging deeper. That's the radical responsibility you take. It takes some time. It takes sitting down and giving it some thought, not just deciding and saying it out loud. You got to do something about it. And that doing is in mind, heart, gut, and action, of course. Now, first, you need to recognize that you are in a drama triangle when you are. And that's sometimes the most difficult step of all, is acknowledging that, is accepting that, is being responsible, taking responsibility for that. Not for whatever happened to get you there, but responsibility for where you're going to go from there. Now, most of the time we don't recognize it, or we ignore it, or we deny it, or we blame it on the situation, or blame it on our feelings about others, or what they supposedly did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we disown our role in creating or perpetuating the drama. So we have to decide, we have to take responsibility for how that drama is going to be perpetuated, or, of course, best, how it's not going to perpetuate itself in our lives. And as we become mindful of our bodies through physiological signs, you could feel that anger or that fear or that those emotions that were that at least feel trapped in you from the situation, and the emotional reactions that are being triggered from that right now at this moment, then we can begin to recognize the thought patterns and enable that continuation of the drama. Because when we recognize the thought patterns, then we can do something with it. When we take responsibility for those signals, we can do something with them. And as we learn to recognize them, we can release the grip of projecting them into our lives, of blaming our whole life on them and living in that blame, shame, or guilt. Simply by acknowledging that we're caught in a drama triangle, regardless of how it was instigated, and remembering who we are, what we are, and where we are, we can step through that power portal. He says that our primary job, he said that. Our primary job is to self-regulate and not make the situation any worse. Yeah, that's a quote. Primary job is to self-regulate and not make the situation any worse. Now, like I said, it's going to be difficult at first. Well, it's not going to be. It may be difficult at first. That's up to you if it's going to be difficult, really. But we learn to respond to the situation and not react to the old drama. When we step into radical responsibility, when we look at it, when we recognize it, when we say, okay, that's what's going on in my life. Now I take responsibility for the next time that it does not enter into my life. And when we do that, we step out of that drama triangle. And you could do it in so many ways. You could just take the breath in the moment. You could just take a breath, take a pause, take a walk, take a moment, count to 10. Whatever works for you to shift your state. That's what we're doing in the moment, at least. When it's happening momentarily, when something triggers us, we are shifting our state. A state shift is a concept you might have heard of if you've studied any neuro-linguistic programming. When we consciously release ourselves from the grip of that fight or flight response, that cortisol that's streaming through our mind, our brains and our body, we can regain access to the rational decision-making capacity of our brain. And we do that by just taking a breath, taking a moment, taking a walk, saying no. We'll talk about this later. But radical responsibility is not about blame. Did I say that? Did I say that already? I'm going to say it again. Radical responsibility is not about taking blame. It's a mindfulness process of living in the moment and taking responsibilities for your thoughts, emotions, and actions in that moment. Moment by moment by moment, without taking blame, without sitting in shame or guilt. And this is not about me giving you permission to be a drama prince or a drama princess and sit in shame, blame, or guilt without taking responsibility for it. I'm not releasing you from your responsibility of your actions. I am encouraging you to take responsibility. This is about ownership of your feelings, no matter what, to get away from that blaming and shaming and guilting and stuff, and shift to communicating how you feel, not just to the other person in that particular moment, if it's a triggered moment, but how communicating to yourself how you feel, because as you communicate to yourself how you feel, then you can move forward with that information so that you get triggered less and less and less until not at all. You know, anger, regret, shame, blame, guilt, they're killers, man. They're killers. They'll eat you. Don't allow yourself to get sidetracked by that stuff. Allow it to inform you. Recognize the emotions being felt, which are tied to that old drama, that old trauma, or maybe not something so intense even, but you still get triggered. Learn to unpack those emotions and realize and declare that they do not run you, that you are not run by external circumstances or the actions of others. We have to remind ourselves of that all the time. That's okay. I'm not saying that you make that decision now and it never happens. I've seen some very centered, grounded people get triggered by what I might have thought is a little thing, but it is not to them. And you're so surprised when people that you think are just so together get rattled by something. As Mr. Mall wrote, he said, just practicing saying yes and no to yourself and others until you become good at it, until it becomes natural. He says the better boundaries you have, the less likely you will end up on the drama triangle. And when you occasionally get caught on one, the less likely you'll get stuck there, like I said. And by your spiritual practice, of course. I'm going to bring that up. Your spiritual practice. You gotta treat your mind with the truth, man. You gotta intentionally empower yourself to handle, tell yourself, declare for yourself, and eventually it'll show up. You're treating your mind. You're giving your mind logical solutions and heartfelt solutions to handle this radical responsibility. Handle yourself and open yourself to the clues that will show up when you ask for them to eliminate their hold on you, because you can do that. Like Ernest Holmes says, there is a divine urge within everyone to know more, to be more, and to express more. And I have found that the thing we are searching for is the thing we are searching with. Self-reliance. Radical responsibility is self-reliance. Remember, conscious thought is more powerful than unconscious thought. You can get through it. You can do it with conscious thought. Sometimes it may take a few times to do it. It may take some work, both in the 3D world and in the metaphysical world. But as you treat your mind over and over again and see if you need, which is absolutely a positive step in the portal of power, if you need to see a therapist to talk it out, if you need to vent it to your friend once, if you need to see a practitioner or minister for spiritual counseling to know the truth for you, then do that. Or other modalities of practitioners and modalities that do similar things, as long as it's affirmative, as long as they are affirming your power and the power that is in you to step out of this drama triangle. September is Declare It month, right? To declare may seem like a brain function, but I want to remind you that it is not a brain function, that the most important part of declaring is the commitment and intention, which is powered from the heart. The heart, the knowledge, the logic, the smarts type brain functions, they're all great, they're all good, but only when it is supported by the wisdom, compassion, and love from the heart and the intuition, by the way, of the enteric brain in the gut. Only when those are working together does this radical responsibility and spiritual practice really take hold, really take flight. Take radical responsibility. The past isn't in your way, my friends. Excuses are. The old stories aren't in your way, my friends. Denial is. The drama, the trauma, the victimhood, the shame, blame, guilt, anything that has happened before can't be in your way unless you continue to allow them. And you don't have to be alone. Remember, you don't have to be alone. Not only are there professionals to help guide you, to help bring you through this, but when you choose radical responsibility, the universe always has your back. The universe always has your back, awaiting your call, your decision, your declaration of freedom. Declare it. Declare your freedom. Take radical responsibility and watch your life heal and change and fly. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Let us place our hands on our hearts and together declare our love offering blessing. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for your blessed love offerings.
Oh, we especially thank you so much for your contributions and supporting our purpose, mission, and vision statements, because it supports you. That's what we're here to do, is have fun in life, to take these spiritual tools and have fun and create magnificent journeys in our lives. By the way, we're on social media. Let me show you real quick where, and then we'll move on to some announcements. So we're everywhere, and those things get updated at least a couple times a week. I make at least one TikTok a week, most of the time right after our Sunday celebration, at least by Tuesday. So it's TikTok Tuesday. So please join us, subscribe to us, etc. We appreciate you. You'll see all the great production credits rolling by. I want to give a special thanks, of course, to Caressa McElhaney for bringing her wisdom and her joy as our sacred reader this morning. And Steve Apperson with the new song, Deeper Dive, and the Right Here, Right Now band, aren't they great? Bringing his new song and being our director of our broadcast this morning. The big news, next Sunday, October 3rd. Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be on the internet. We'll be live on Facebook and live on YouTube. But we'll also be live in person right there at Tag Studio, the Actors Group studio there in Burbank. That's going to be our new home there at 2813 Magnolia Boulevard. It's about 8.5 blocks from Porto's towards Burbank, from Porto's for those who are in the valley and know that place, or Pinocchio's is nearby too. Anyway, there is the address, and we'll leave that up for you so you can take a look at it. It'll also be listed, and has been listed, in our e-blasts. And if you aren't a part of our e-blast, please direct message me or send an email to RevJ at NewThought-SC.org. But otherwise, you can see 2813 West Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, kind of right between Burbank and North Hollywood. What else can I tell you about? It's a fun place. We are masking, of course. We will social distance, of course. The artistic director and the owner of the space is very cognizant of the anti-COVID CDC rules and regulations, and we will follow those. We'll only be able to in order to keep social distance, about 25-ish people at first. So first 25 get in, but the door can stay open, and you can stand there in the beautiful autumn of the San Fernando Valley, those who live in the Los Angeles area. And we're really grateful for Penny to offer us this space, and to see you all in person again. It's so many of you I have not seen except for on video or Facebook or something like that. So that starts again October 3rd, next Thursday, at Tag Studios in Burbank. So this morning, instead of closing with a spiritual mind treatment, or let me say, instead of closing with what would be considered the usual type of spiritual mind treatment, I'm going to leave you with some music that I will speak over. It's Claude Debussy's The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. It's performed by the Los Angeles-based cello quintet called Sakura, and they will be backing me as I speak the wisdom and poetry of the great Maya Angelou, a part of which you heard at the beginning of the talk. But we can use this as an affirmation, as a spiritual mind treatment, as a inspiration to move forward from these fabulous words from this fabulous poet, Maya Angelou. So until next Sunday, either here on the internet, on the World Wide Web, or in person with us at Tag Studios in Burbank, I know for you a most beautiful and blessed week, and appreciate and have gratitude that you joined us this week and every week. And please, please stay in love. We'll see you soon. Namaste. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still, I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, because I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. And so it is.